Hey, howdy, what's going on? Zach here from PremiumBeat.com. Today we're going to be talking about utilizing your vehicle as a stabilizer. So using basically how you can mount and shoot out of a car to get some really dynamic and really smooth coverage of whatever you're filming. And it can be anything from like a car to a van to your mom's SUV. So we're gonna start off simple and then get a little bit more complex. So to start off with, like, my simple setup would be just shooting out of the window of a vehicle. The shots that you can get literally just pointing your camera out of the window of a car are so great. And if you just change the angle of the view, you get some really great like establishing shots for your film. So for instance, like I live in Toronto and one of the coolest views of the city is actually just from a car. So what you can do is just like shoot on a long lens, capture some like nice heights of buildings, get a little bit wider, and you get a nice like establishing shot of the city. If you keep your hands pretty stable, put a warp stabilizer on it, there's a lot of great coverage that you can literally just get out of the window of a car. And you can diversify your footage. It can be of buildings, you can do of like bridges passing by, even just people getting like ambient atmosphere shots. But you're like, Zach, that one's easy. I do that one already. Well, the next setup that I would say is even cooler is if you roll down your window and put your camera out of the window. Now this is where you're like, whoa, I feel a little nervous. I'm not putting my camera out the window. Well, if you are the people who are like, Zach, I want to give that a shot, I would recommend it because you can get some really solid stuff. And what I like to do is put my camera on my single-handed gimbal and then just hold it out the window. Now, for security's sake, I hold it with both hands. And what I want to say for everything else from this point forward in this video, do at your own risk. Now, a lot of the time when I film these things, it's on closed streets. The safety is monitored on every single person who's involved. And so I'd recommend be safe before trying to get an ambitious shot. No, you're no hero if you get yourself injured, wreck the camera in the process, and never ended up getting the shot. Following safety procedures for every single one of these setups I'm about to talk about is 100% crucial, because at the end of the day, if you wreck your body, you wreck the talent's body, and you wreck the camera, and you didn't get the shot, there was no point of achieving it in the first place. Nothing is more valuable than the safety of the people who you're working with and who are outside the film as well. That being said, let's get into some dangerous stuff. The next setup I want to talk about is rolling down the window of your car and putting your camera out of the window of your car to get some cool like tracking shots of, let's say, of another vehicle. What I'll do is I'll have my camera on my single-handed gimbal. I'll hold both hands onto the gimbal, have myself strapped into the car, make sure everyone's cool with it, everyone's happy, closed street, all that fun stuff. And then I'll hold my camera out of the window of the car. Now, this is keeping the camera secure and then just kind of framing it up and then pointing into the direction of whatever I'm tracking, and it's able to get some like car commercial quality shots. And you can do this from like shooting like back behind the vehicle. So like, let's say you're in the car, you're out the window. Instead of shooting like sideways like this, try and get whatever you're tracking to go a little bit further ahead of you or a little bit further behind you, and then filming backwards. That way you're able to get a little bit more depth of whatever you're shooting out of the vehicle. You're like, Zach, I already do those two things, so this tutorial has no value to me. I'm about to shut this off. Well, before you go any further, let's talk about how you can actually just use your vehicle as like a gimbal. The big thing is you don't actually have to use your vehicle for like high speed, fast things, tracking vehicles or getting establishing shots. You can literally use this as like a gimbal system. Maybe you don't have a single-handed gimbal, or maybe you do, but you want to just get even smoother coverage, let's say in a parking lot. What we did for this proof of concept that we're doing for our web series Cycle, is we just held the camera out of the back of our van. Now, every safety procedure and precaution was done part of this. And then we just utilized it as a dolly. So moving the vehicle very slowly forward and having the gimbal out of the back of the vehicle, we were able to get this really nice, like just slow establishing shot. And since we were going so smooth and so slow, we had the camera nice and close, zoomed right into our lead character, and we got a really dynamic shot that the only other way we probably would have been able to capture this same stuff is by having a dolly set up and high budget equipment. So we were able to kind of do some nice run and gun establishing shots by literally just holding the camera out of the back of a car, slowly moving forward, and then we filmed it in slow motion just to add a little bit of drama to the scene. We're filming a car accident scene here. We're calling a hang out the back, and Andre, here's Andre, poor guy.
Oh, don't look at me.
Okay, so now we're getting into danger territory. This is the stuff where if you do not feel comfortable doing it, just don't do it. You have to feel 100% comfortable, and I would highly recommend any of these setups that I'm about to talk about, you have it on a closed course. Everyone knows what's going on. If you have a van that you're shooting out of, ones with like sliding doors, what I would say is buckle yourself into the seat and then open up the side of one of the doors, and you can do side tracking shots. Now, the reason why I would say doing this instead of like out of a window is you can get really low with your talent, and you can kind of like film nice and close. You have a little bit more flexibility of what angle you're shooting. You can see what you're shooting, and getting the camera a little lower to the ground actually boosts up the energy if you're doing like a running scene or a tracking shot beside someone who's very energetic. This can build a lot of energy. And that is it, you guys. So hopefully from this video, you've learned that using a vehicle can really get a wide range of shots in your video. Everything from like city establishing shots to close-up emotional pullaways to fast-paced action moments. So having a vehicle on your tool belt, whether it's like you're just on a trip and you're just getting some establishing shots of somewhere, or you can actually use it as part of like your dolly system, I'd highly recommend just knowing that you have that asset available, and it's very helpful for a wide range of different productions. And I will say it again because I'm gonna be a wiener about it. Do this safely, do this in a closed environment if you're filming out of a vehicle. Again, you are no hero if people get hurt on your shoot and the shot got ruined in the process of it. So do everything safely, make sure everyone's understanding of the precautions, and I do not recommend you guys doing any of these setups unless you're doing it safely. That's it, you guys. Hopefully you got a lot from this tutorial. If you want to take a look at some more, highly recommend subscribing to the PremiumBeat YouTube page. There's some really great content down there from some super dope creators. If you want to follow my life a little bit further, you can follow me on the Instagrams at ZachRamlin. You can send me a message there if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas for future tutorials. I'm always down to respond and hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching. See you guys later, and have a good one.